All right, folks are still filtering in. Welcome, Bay Area Case Studies Virtual College Fair. Thank you for being here. As you can see on the screen, this part is really important. Our panelists cannot hear or see you. So if you have any question for them at any time, please use the Q&A button at the top or bottom of your screen. If it's very specific to one institution, please just make sure to make note of that. But that Q&A is the only way you'll be able to get a direct response during this 45-minute session. Pay attention to the chat. They are going to be putting pertinent information in there, their contact information, valuable. Again, your microphone and your camera off. So pay attention to that chat for that contact info and utilize that Q&A. A recording of this is available at StriveScan's website, and I will put that link into the chat. I'll also put everything I'm saying into the chat right now as well, so that if you're just getting in here, you'll know what's going on. With that, we are going to be mindful of the time and kick it off with Carnegie Mellon University.
Thank you very much, Christy, and good evening, everybody. My name is Justin. I am an Associate Director with the Office of Admission at Carnegie Mellon University. And I just want to give you a quick introduction to the university this evening. So Carnegie Mellon is a medium-sized research university. We're home to about 6,400 undergraduate students and a freshman class each year of 1,600 or so. We're located in the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is all the way on the western side of the state of Pennsylvania. We are an urban campus located just a couple of miles from the downtown neighborhood of the city, and have just shy of about 200 acres of campus within the Carnegie Mellon community. The university is home to 7 distinct colleges. And as an undergraduate student, you would be applying directly to one of our undergraduate colleges or directly to one of our programs, in the case of the fine arts or one of our inter-college programs that I'll be mentioning. I want to briefly introduce those colleges and the programs that exist within them. And then we'll talk a little bit about some of the themes that define a Carnegie Mellon experience, regardless of your college affiliation. So in no particular order, first college that I'll mention is our School of Computer Science, which houses our programs in computer science, artificial intelligence, human-computer interaction, and computational biology. Next is our College of Engineering, which houses our electrical and computer engineering, mechanical engineering, civil and environmental engineering, material sciences, and chemical engineering programs. Next is our Mellon College of Science. The Mellon College is home to our biological sciences, mathematical sciences, chemistry, and physics departments. The Tepper School of Business is home to a single major in business administration. The Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences is by far our most academically diverse college, with over 60 different majors and minors spread across departments that house traditional humanities-based fields like creative writing and philosophy, and quantitative social sciences like behavioral economics and statistics and machine learning. Our Heinz College of Information Systems and Public Policy co-hosts an inter-college program with the Dietrich College, focusing on information systems. So it is one that you do apply directly to. And then our final college is the College of Fine Arts, which is home to 5 distinct schools of the arts. The visual arts-based programs in architecture, art, and design, which are a studio environment, and the performing arts-based programs of drama and music, which are housed within a conservatory-style education. Now, regardless of your home college here at Carnegie Mellon, whether you're in a creative or a technical field, there are a few themes that help to define Carnegie Mellon experience for our students. The first is that as an institution, we believe in applied education. You're not only going to master theory, attend lectures, read textbooks, you're also going to have a chance to roll up your sleeves and to do work that matters. Whether that means getting into the laboratory as a chemist or onto the stage as a musician, you'll have experiences that mirror those you'd have as a young professional. Second, that puts forth interdisciplinary and cross-disciplinary educational opportunities. You have opportunities to learn from classmates, from faculty and staff whose talents are phenomenally different than your own. Great illustration of this is our Ideate program, in design, art, and technology, which provide elective coursework in fields like animation, sound design, learning, and intelligent environments, which is collaborative, hands-on coursework taught out of makerspaces, labs, and studios in our library, which is the glass and metal building that you see over my shoulder there in my Zoom background. And then the third and final theme would be the diversity that you'll find within the Carnegie Mellon community. We believe that our diverse community that brings together students, faculty, and staff from a wide array of lived experiences is integral to the strong outcomes of the educational and campus environment. You'll find that our students call 48 different states home, as well as the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico, over 50 countries, with about 17% of our undergraduate students being international students. About 15% of our students are Black or African American, Latinx, or Native American students. About 49% identify as male, 50% is female, and about 1% is gender non-binary. So collectively, these three themes that I've mentioned of the diversity of the community, the interdisciplinarity of the education, and the applied nature of the education, they help to define that Carnegie Mellon experience. With our closing minute, I just want to say a few quick words about the application process by noting that Carnegie Mellon is a selective institution. And that means that we're practicing a holistic admission process that I know you're going to hear echoed by my great colleagues this evening. That means that we're looking for students who will both be a fit for our academic or artistic environment, but who will also contribute to the broader Carnegie Mellon community and make the community a more interesting, more supportive, a more inclusive place for their classmates, for their lab mates, and their roommates. In evaluating an application, we rely on the Common Application, which is our exclusive application platform. We are also the office that supports you through the financial aid process, and we use the FAFSA and CSS profile as our financial aid applications. Fee waivers are available for both of these application platforms for any student for who the cost of applying would be a barrier. And in financial aid, we are committed to meeting the full demonstrated need of all US citizens, permanent residents, and eligible non-citizens. We're coming up on my time here, so I'm going to drop my contact information into the chat if you want to reach out, or feel free to drop questions into the Q&A. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Carlton College.
Thank you. All right, sorry, it always takes me a bit to share my screen. Hopefully you're looking at an image of campus right now. So again, my name is Remy. I'm here to chat with you for a brief 6 minutes about Carleton. We're a small private liberal arts college located in Northfield, Minnesota. That's about 40 miles south of the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. I'm going to touch on a few brief things academically. The first thing you should know, and probably the most important thing, is that Carleton is a place for students who love to learn, right? If you're someone who is excited about rigorous classes, you're excited about the discussion that happens in your courses, you're excited about interdisciplinary coursework, right? Carleton might be a really good fit. I had not given any thought to a liberal arts college prior to Carleton finding me. I actually never would have found Carleton as a high school student. But one of the things that sort of categorized my high school experience was the fact that there were these sort of artificial walls between all the different subjects I was studying, right? I only talked about numbers in my math class, and I only talked about books, almost always by white male authors, in my English class, right? And I only talked about a very particular viewpoint of history in my social studies courses. And those things didn't touch, didn't cross, didn't overlap. And the cross and overlap is pretty much all I did at Carleton, right? Discussing those gray spaces between the black and white of different curricular areas. And I loved that. And I found that I really learned how to learn once I became a student at Carleton. So again, if that's intriguing and exciting to you, liberal arts might be your jam. Another big thing to note that makes Carleton different than most of its peer institutions is the fact that we use a trimester system. Most places do quarters or semesters. Our terms are 10 weeks long, and there are 3 of them. For context, I think semesters, most places are like 12 to 14 weeks. So the pace at Carleton is notably fast, right? When we talk about the academic rigor of Carleton, the pace is a big part of that, okay? Trade-off is that our students take 3 classes at a time versus typically 4 at a semester school, right? So you're taking fewer classes at once, but usually more over the span of a year, right? Because we do 3 classes 3 times rather than 4 classes twice. It offers an incredible amount of flexibility and a lot of space for you to study courses that you're really excited about beyond the realm of your major. Your distribution requirements are going to force you to sort of get out of your curricular comfort zone and try a variety of different things while you're on campus. About a third of your classes need to go to your major, but that leaves 2/3 of your classes for literally whatever you want, right? And one of the coolest things about a liberal arts institution is that you need no rhyme or reason or previous experience to sign up for a class, right? Anyone who wants to take a course in architecture can do it, right? It's not just for majors. Anyone who wants to take a dance course can do it. Anyone who wants to take a history course can do it, right? You've got this sort of cornucopia of courses at your disposal at all times, which is really pretty exciting. Another big part of the academic experience for most students at Carleton is an off-campus studies experience. About 70% of our students will do one of those programs. About a third of our students will actually go more than once. So if you've got the travel bug, we travel to 6 continents. We don't go to Antarctica. If you're familiar with Minnesota, there's really no need for that. So again, if you have any interest in doing this, certainly accessible to you while at Carleton, and your financial aid will actually follow you around the world. The residential aspect of Carleton is a big part of the overall Carleton experience. Not only is housing guaranteed for all 4 years at Carleton, most of our students live on campus all 4 years. It's about 95%. That's intentional. It is by design. We believe in the value of those connections. You'll find that liberal arts colleges talk a lot about community. And for Carleton, this is one of the ways that we really hone in on that community, right? Not only are you living amongst your peers, you are next to all of the different academic resources you might need. You're next to those of you who do athletics. You're going to be next to your practice spaces and facilities, your coaches. You're going to be next to professor offices if you need to go, take advantage of their office hours, or you want to just grab lunch after a class. We find there's real value in this, okay? The campus is actually a block from downtown Northfield. So if you want to go downtown for coffee, or you want to go bowling, you got to make a Target run, whatever the situation is, it is walking distance. Most students do not bring cars to Carleton. If you're worried about traveling to a new state, right, that's totally normal. I'm not from Minnesota either. Most of our students come from outside the state, right? In fact, they come from all over the world. So you will not be the only one. In fact, you'll probably be part of the majority, right? Most of our students are not from the Midwest. In terms of what students are doing outside of class, it's a great many things. It was one of the things I loved about Carleton. Everyone does something outside of academics, right? Students come to take learning very seriously, but they're also bringing passions that they want to pursue outside the classroom, right? And Carleton offers a space for that. So if you're someone who again values that balance, right? You want to work your butt off in the classroom, but you want to have a social life, right? And you want to be able to go do things. You want to be an activist. You want to be an artist. You want to be a musician, whatever the case may be. There is space for you to pursue all of that as well. There's a wide variety of campus resources. I always like to show this slide just because the expectation is that, yes, academically, we're going to challenge you, but this is never meant to be a place where you are challenged and going through this stuff on your own. There's an incredible amount of support on campus. The vibe on campus is also very collaborative. That's one of the things that really stood out to me about Carleton. I'm getting the 20-second mark, so I'll just say briefly, we use a variety of different applications. It is always free to apply to Carleton, and we do meet full financial need for all admitted students. So I will stop and turn it over to my next colleague here.
All right, thank you so much. Definitely put any information you can into that chat. Next up, we have University of Delaware.
Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Chuck Leader, representing the University of Delaware, and I do want to start by talking about our location. As working with California students the past 7 years, this tends to be the very first question that is brought up. Where are you located? How do I get there? As you can see, we're really strategically and conveniently located between 4 major East Coast cities. We're closest to Philadelphia, which has an international airport, and we're a 45-minute drive away down I-95. But we are a little bit further away from Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and New York City, and also 75 minutes away from the Atlantic Ocean. So where we have a lot of social and academic urban options, we are a real traditional residential college campus. We are the Tier 1 flagship research public university in the state of Delaware. We have 18,000 undergraduates, and on top of that, just about 6,000 graduate students. So we are considered large. We're going to be the largest school you'll hear from tonight, but I want to point out that over 75% of our total students are undergraduates. So a majority of the resources regarding internships, research opportunities, and also just classes, and the fact that 98% of our professors are teaching courses, it is predominantly undergraduate focused. And even though we are the flagship university in the state of Delaware, we aren't just dominated with Delawarean residents. You know, yes, heavily populated from Chicago-based east, but 70% of our total undergraduate population are coming from outside the state of Delaware. We are what you would call an East Coast classic, as you can probably tell from this beautiful Georgian architecture with the red bricks and white columns, and there's a lot of wide open green space. In fact, that strip of green that goes from the top to bottom of this particular slide here, that is what we call the green, and that's the hub and center of academic and social life. So you have a lot of dormitories, libraries, research halls, academic buildings that are surrounding the green. And one thing that I think this really distinguishes our campuses from others is we have a very vibrant Main Street that from the center building of that green here, Memorial Hall, it's about a 10-minute walk from Memorial Hall to our Main Street. Because let me tell you something, everyone, you're going to want to go off campus at least once or twice a week. And right here, a 10-minute walk from the center of campus, you have a vibrant Main Street. Most people call us a quintessential college town. We have very vibrant Division I athletics, a Greek life, but it's nice to know, in addition to the wonderful on-campus amenities that we have with our 2 student unions and the eateries that are around there, we have 80 different unique boutiques, restaurants, and shops that are within a short walk, short bike ride, skateboard ride as well. You can have a car on campus, but being the fact that we are connected really close with the Amtrak and SEPTA commuter train line and right off the major interstate, I definitely don't think you need it. But most of our students will live on campus for at least 2 full years, but Main Street and even a quarter-mile radius off campus does have a lot of other housing opportunities. From an academic standpoint, just like you would expect out of any other flagship university, we have a lot of majors and minors to offer. You can be directly admitted into any of our 150 majors. They're divided between 8 different colleges, and we also have a good amount of students, 20% actually, that come in as a university studies student. That means they have multiple interests or have not quite yet decided, and they want to come and go through our liberal arts curriculum at the University of Delaware and just decide at another point. And with our unique academic advising specifically for these students, they could do that within a semester or at the end of their 2nd year. Some very popular colleges that students know us for, particularly on the West Coast, is our College of Health Sciences. In fact, our most competitive major is our direct entry nursing program. We also have the #1 physical therapy PhD program in the nation. So exercise science and sports health is very competitive and also very much sought after and is very good in preparing you for a PhD track in physical therapy. But we also have amazing chemical engineering, biomedical and mechanical engineering programs as well. I do feel that if you are interested in a major, possibly in health science or engineering, you should put that on as your first choice major on the common application or coalition, whatever you choose. But I just don't want you to think that we're all just about STEM or engineering. We actually, like I mentioned, are a liberal arts university at our core. We go all the way back to 1743 with that commitment, and we have amazing programs in psychology. Our College of Business is our 2nd largest college, next to our College of Arts and Sciences. Amazing neuroscience programs as well. We have a 3-language major called our triple linguistics major. And we also are one of 4 colleges and universities in the nation that have an undergraduate and graduate program in art conservation. Very quickly, I want to talk about some distinct communities within our university. We do bring in about 4,400 first-year students each year, so a lot of students do gravitate and look at our honors college program. Specifically, if you are looking at smaller liberal art colleges, maybe private colleges, that in a sense, the honors college is a community within our larger public university. We take 600 students each year, and they're proportionally divided between all 8 of our colleges and university studies students. We were the very first college and university to do a formal travel abroad program. So our World Scholars Program is perfect for students who want global citizenship to be part of their 4-year experience at the University of Delaware. And you would actually begin as a World Scholar traveling abroad with a cohort of first-year UD students. As I wrap up, I do always like to share the fact that the University of Delaware is the host to the Diamond Challenge, the #1 ranked high school youth entrepreneurship competition. You don't have to actually be interested in applying to Delaware, but it is a global competition and has just 2 distinct tracks. The Diamond Challenge has business and social innovation as distinct competition tracks. And I invite you to take a screenshot of this contact information. I will also place that in the chat as well, but I want to thank you very much, and I'm going to pass it on to our next presenter.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Trinity College.
Thank you, Christy. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you all. Thanks for having me this evening. So my name is Emily Petersell. I'm an Associate Director of Admissions at Trinity College. So Trinity is a small liberal arts college located in an urban environment. We're not in a college town. We are very much in a city. We are in the capital city of Hartford, Connecticut. So we're just about 2 hours south-ish of Boston, 2 hours north of New York City. And we're very proud of our identity as an urban liberal arts college. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So our student body size is about 2,100 undergraduate students. We are a small community, but for a community of our size, we are quite diverse. And we do have students who come to us from all over the country and all over the world. So right now, our student body represents 47 different states. And I know the slide says 76 countries, but we are actually approaching 80 different countries with the students who have just been admitted in our class of 2025. So we are very excited about that. So diving right in, to talk a little bit about the academic experience at Trinity. So as a liberal arts college, there is a lot to choose from. We have 41 different majors and 28 minors to choose from. When you look at that list of majors at Trinity, you'll notice it is a good, healthy mix of some traditional liberal arts subjects, things that you would kind of expect to see like history, English, modern languages, economics, but you'll also see some more innovative programs that you don't necessarily see at every small liberal arts college out there. Some good examples would be we are one of only a handful of small liberal arts colleges that does offer a fully ABET accredited Bachelor's of Science in Engineering program. We are also the first college to offer a major in human rights. So there are some more unique programs mixed in with the liberal arts. Students at Trinity do not apply directly to a program, and they have until midway through their sophomore year to declare a major. So there's a lot of flexibility to explore different disciplines. You'll see on here about 15% of our students do end up pursuing a double major. So it is not uncommon at all for students to come in with multiple interests or develop multiple interests. Many students choose to minor. And in addition to that 15% who double major, about 25% of our students will choose to pursue some sort of interdisciplinary major, such as neuroscience, public policy and law, international studies, some sort of majors that span different disciplines. As a liberal arts college, we do not have a core curriculum. Instead, we do have distribution requirements, which means that each student at Trinity, in order to graduate, is required to take just one class in each of these 6 areas, which are arts, humanities, social science, natural science, numeric and symbolic reasoning, and then there's a global requirement as well. Finally, all of the students at Trinity do wrap up their 4 years with a culminating guided research experience that could be either a senior capstone project, a senior thesis, or doing a senior research seminar in their major. Now, I mentioned that I want to talk a little bit about our identity as an urban liberal arts college. So typically when I talk to students and families, they will ask me, what makes Trinity different? Why is Trinity different from other small liberal arts colleges? Because a lot of the stuff that you saw on the last slide are things that are pretty typical of liberal arts colleges, but this is where I think Trinity is different. It's location, location, location. Our identity as an urban liberal arts college and our location in a capital city really does open up a lot of opportunities for students to take what they're learning outside of the classroom and really engage in real world experiences all through their 4 years. So some examples of that, we have over 200 Trinity specific internship opportunities in and around the city of Hartford. This means that there are actually companies and organizations all over Hartford area that are holding spots for Trinity students to come and work with them. We do allow students to do internships for credit during the semester as well, so you don't just have to wait to do those internships over the summer or breaks. About 80% of Trinity students do at least one internship experience before they graduate. Our Center for Hartford Engagement and Research is the office that organizes all of the different ways that students at Trinity can get involved in the community above and beyond internship experiences. So you could get involved in research projects in the city through our Liberal Arts Action Lab. You can do research fellowships. One way that a lot of students do get involved is through community learning courses, which are actually classes taught by Trinity professors, where a component of the class actually necessitates that students get out into the community to engage with organizations, populations, and real world problems that are happening around the city. And about a third of Trinity students do at least one community learning course before they graduate. Not necessarily related to Hartford, but it is related to getting off campus. About 60% of Trinity students also study away before they graduate. We have a lot of different programs and locations, both domestic and in every continent, on every continent other than Antarctica. So lots of different options if you're thinking about studying away. In terms of our campus community, we are very much a residential living learning community. In a typical year, more than 90% of our students do live on campus with us. We have over 140 different student clubs, organizations, and cultural and community houses that students can get involved in. I know, anecdotally speaking, most of the students that I know are involved in at least 2 clubs and organizations. Many of them hold leadership positions pretty early on in their time at Trinity in these clubs and orgs, so lots of ways to get involved. In terms of athletics, we are Division III for all of our varsity athletic teams. Between men's and women's teams, we do have 30 teams, and we compete in the NESCAC group, which is the New England Small College Athletic Conference. So quite an active campus community. I'll wrap up with some quick highlights about our admissions and financial aid process. So like many of my colleagues, we do practice holistic admission review. We are also a test optional college, and we have been since 2015. That policy is here to stay. And actually, usually more than half of the students who are admitted to Trinity every year are students who did not submit testing with their application. So it's truly optional. We do waive the application fee for all first-generation college students as well. In terms of financial aid, we are committed to meeting 100% of our students' calculated financial aid through our need-based aid program. And we do also offer merit scholarships as part of our aid packages. There's no separate application or deadline or any special essay or anything that you have to worry about for a merit scholarship. We hand select our merit scholarship winners directly from our applicant pool. So just by applying to Trinity, you will be in consideration. That's all the time that I have. I'm going to turn it over to the next presenter, but I'm happy to share my contact info in the chat, and please feel free to put some questions in the Q&A as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Pitzer College.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. It's so fun to be here and chatting with you all tonight. My name is Erin Griffin. I'm an assistant director of admission at Pitzer College, which is located in Claremont, California, just east of Los Angeles, about 35 miles. Give a little overview of Pitzer. We are about 1,100 students at Pitzer, so probably the smallest college represented in this group tonight. But we are a member of the Claremont Colleges, or the Claremont Consortium, if you have heard of us. So we actually share resources and are located right next door to 4 other small liberal arts colleges. Total student body of the Claremont Consortium ends up being more like 6,000, 6,500 undergraduate students. And we do share resources like athletics, clubs and activities, social spaces, libraries, et cetera, and you can take classes at all of the other Claremont schools. To share a little bit more about Pitzer specifically, we were founded in 1963, and we were very much a product of our time, middle of the civil rights movement, Vietnam War protests, environmental movements here in Southern California. We are really known for having this thread of social justice, global understanding since our founding. So 5 core values really distinguish Pitzer and our experience on campus, certainly from the other Claremont colleges, but also from other liberal arts colleges across the country. I mentioned social justice, global understanding, interdisciplinary learning, like many of my colleagues have spoken about, very just inherent to the liberal arts college experience. Environmentalism is quite big for us on campus, as well as student engagement. So I'll share a little bit more about all of these. To talk a bit more about academics at Pitzer, the student experience, campus life, Academics are pretty broad for us. We have about 40 different majors on campus and about 22 different minors. As a liberal arts college, that's going to span social sciences, humanities, STEM courses, all of the above. Flexibility is key at Pitzer. We have a very open curriculum. Our distribution requirements are super broad, so students will have the chance certainly to explore different fields, make sure that they're kind of pushing your boundaries a little bit, exploring beyond just the one thing that you're thinking about majoring in, but still having flexibility to take classes that you're excited about. About a quarter of our students do double major, and at Pitzer you can also combine a major. You can self-design a major very easily if your interests are kind of falling outside of our traditional offerings. Many different options to pursue. We are also a very active community. We pretty consistently are going to be ranked #1 most politically active students, and I think that really rings true into students' interests and how they get involved once they're on campus. We have a huge focus on community engagement and social justice. One of our course requirements for graduation is going to be your social justice theory and social responsibility praxis course pairing. So a chance to tackle higher education access in an inside out class. These are our courses taught inside local prisons, half Pitzer students, half inmates, diving into that conversation from a bit of a different perspective. We also have a shared governance model here at Pitzer. So when we talk about student engagement as one of our values, we're really talking about students being engaged in the institutional makeup of the college. Students sit on every executive committee that we have on campus. They're deciding which murals get painted. They're deciding which faculty receive tenure, all of the above. Lots of different ways to get involved in both service off campus, institutional change on campus. I mentioned global and intercultural understanding being a big part of our institution since we were founded, and a big part of how that's embodied is through study abroad. Study abroad, like several other colleges in this group, very popular and such a great experience if it's something that you're excited about doing in college. Just over half of our student body will go abroad at some point. You can go many times at Pitzer, and you can take advantage of one of our direct run programs. So Pitzer programs specifically have a big kind of cultural language immersion component. So you will certainly be in a homestay when you go abroad. You'll have the chance to take intensive language courses. Even if it's in Nepal and you're taking Nepali for the first time in your life, you will likely leave fluent. But a portion of that study abroad program will also be some sort of community engagement or internship component. So about a month of the program gets dedicated to that. So many great opportunities to explore. I always recommend studying abroad if you have the opportunity. Last but not least, environmental sustainability is huge for us at Pitzer. I like to say this is probably one of our most visible core values on campus. Our campus is going to look a lot different than some of our peer institutions, both in the Claremont and across the country. A lot of cacti, a lot of succulents. We're about 75% drought tolerant, native to Southern California species of plants. A lot of our buildings and residence halls are also gold and platinum LEED certified. So many of our students will be housed in sustainable buildings. We have a conservancy space just off campus dedicated to tackling issues surrounding climate change and its impacts on our community in Southern California. Our dining services are sustainable. So not only is the food so good, but it is also local and served fresh. So you can always be certain that you are living sustainably in every aspect of your life. Environmental analysis is one of those programs that we are definitely known for. So if you're interested in studying environmental science in college, this is a great program to dive into policy, human impact of climate change, looking at urban planning and sustainable architecture, looking at science. But even if you do not take a single environmental analysis class in college, I guarantee you will have many opportunities to learn more about sustainability and live a sustainable life at Pitzer. I have so much more I could talk about, but I am not going to take up too much time. In terms of admission questions, anything else about Pitzer, anything about the Claremont colleges, please do not hesitate to put some questions in the Q&A, and I am glad to answer. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Regis University.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Let me just share my screen real quick. All right, so Regis University. My name is Dominic Ziolek. I'm one of our assistant directors in admissions. Regis University is a small private school located in Denver, Colorado. We are Colorado and really the Rocky Mountains' only Jesuit university. So what does that mean? Jesuit is kind of a religious order underneath the Catholic umbrella, if you want to say. They're really known for two things. One is education. There's 27 Jesuit universities in America, but two is social justice. So that's kind of the biggest way you're going to interact with that background, that Jesuit background at Regis. You'll be talking about what's on the news at night, talking about these big social issues in today's world. And no matter what field you're in, what major you're thinking about, you're going to be talking about those big issues in the classroom. So quick overview of who we are. So we're right around 2,000 undergraduate students, so pretty small size there. Obviously 500 students start each freshman class. Our average class size is right around 17 students. If you're in you'll either have some smaller than that, kind of your junior, senior year, depending on your major. And then our largest class, some of those like intro to science classes are 50, 60, 70 students. That's pretty rare. So still no big lecture halls or anything like that. Our campus size, pretty small. It's a nice kind of tight-knit community with that small campus, but about 5-minute walk to any building. So really easy to get around, really quick to get around, super easy to get to class. One point of note on this picture that we'll talk about a little bit, you'll see Denver in the background there. So you'll see it's pretty close to campus. It's about 10 minutes away. We'll talk more about Denver in a little bit. What kind of student comes to Regis? So this is of our last incoming class this past fall. We do have a majority of Colorado residents, but we do have a good chunk of students coming from out of state. California is by far our biggest out of state area, but we have 42 of the 50 states represented. So a nice diverse group there. 33% of our students identify as first generation. 80% of our first year students live on campus, and they all live in the same residence hall. So it's kind of that first year community on campus. It is newly renovated, so it's very nice. It's been open for less than a year. So very nice, kind of all these cool options there for first year housing. And then lastly, kind of a 35, 65, 30, 70 male to female ratio, depending on how you want to round up or down. But again, kind of a good mixture there. So we'll spend a little bit of time talking about what we have to offer academically. So this is everything we offer, majors, minors, pathways, all that stuff. But the big one for us is nursing. That's our best and biggest program for us. And that is a direct entry nursing program. So you apply, you get in, you don't have to worry about applying again junior year, you're automatically in and don't have to worry about that. Our business and computing programs have actually recently combined. So they're all kind of housed in the same area to kind of open up some new opportunities and experiences for those students. But then our third biggest major coming in is undecided. So we give students 2 years to declare your major, kind of figure out what you want to study and have that ability to declare your major. And then one program I will mention, because I think it's super cool, is our neuroscience program. Not a lot of bachelors in neuroscience out there. And then also, I don't understand this, but apparently they do brain surgery on rats, like their junior and senior year, which is pretty cool to make them spin in a different direction. Don't understand it at all, but I thought that was pretty cool, so wanted to share. Before we talk about admissions and all of that, so this is kind of the different view of our campus. And you'll see the Rocky Mountains in the background. So that's really something unique to Regis, is kind of that small school feel in a pretty big city. No matter what you want to do for fun, whether it's go to the city, go to the mountains, all that, we have ability and access to it. Denver, rapidly growing mid-sized city, a lot of fun things to do, is about 10 minutes away. So really accessible for our students. And then the mountains, if you ski, snowboard, or want to learn, camping, backpacking, hiking, if you want to hike a 14er, which is a big thing here in Colorado, all of that's like 30 minutes to an hour away. So we really have that access to kind of whatever your passion is for your free time, you're going to have access to that. But the admissions process, really briefly, we are test optional for all programs. That includes nursing. That is a permanent thing for us. So that will be test optional moving forward. We do accept the common application, and it is free to apply to Regis. We are also on rolling admission. So no deadlines unless you're going for that direct entry nursing program, which is December 1st. We are a private university, so that sticker price, that price you might see might be a little bit high at first glance, but over 99% of our families receive some kind of financial assistance. And you can see that average financial aid award is pretty high. And then as soon as you apply, you're automatically considered for merit scholarships. Those are between $5,000 and $20,000 a year. So we really work with all of our families to try to make Regis an affordable option for you. That is it on my end. It's a really, really brief intro to Regis. I will put my contact info and our visit link if you want to come learn more about Regis. I'll put that all in the chat. Thank you.
All right, thank you. If I could have everyone come back on screen in the same order that you presented, starting with Carnegie Mellon University, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
Sure. So I think as you enter this process, probably the best view is give yourself a little bit of grace and be true to yourself as you go through the process. What I mean by that is it's very easy to get caught up in trying to figure out what's the essay that they're looking for, what club or activity is the evaluating. And the most honest answer I can give you is that we're all looking for students that are going to bring a wide array of interests, talents, and passions to bear in our communities. So what's going to come across, I think, the clearest, the strongest, and the most genuine in the application is if you stay true to your own interests, your own talents, and you don't get too caught up in trying to put together that perfect application.
Yeah, that is spectacular advice, and I'll jump on board that bus. Reflecting on my own college experience, that was one of the biggest mistakes I made applying, was just trying to put into my application what I thought college admissions officers wanted to read about. And the reality is we just want to read about you, right? And I see that now, like working in this profession. So learn from us and put as much of yourself as you can into this process, both the search and application process. And trust that what we really want to read about is everything that you actually care about, that actually lights you up, that actually sort of, gets you going and fuels your passions.
The advice I would give is this. You should have, for all the colleges you apply to, you should have a good answer on why that one deserves your application. Now, there are many similarities out of all the schools, even though we're from different regions of the country, different sizes, have different focuses. But I think you need to go beyond what you could see on our admissions webpage in your research. Look at the assets that we have regarding our faculty and our professors that are really there, who are really the distinguishers between all of us, and dive into their CVs. Look at the research they do. Look at the specific areas of expertise that they're bringing, because those relationships that you have with them are really is what will make something different from one school studying the exact same major than another. And those professors are also going to be very integral in advice for graduate school, for internship opportunities. They might write you letters of recommendation. So go beyond the admissions webpage, dive in. I know it can be very boring sometimes, but look at the curriculum, look at what you'd be taking as a third-year student in the second semester in a particular major, and look at the course descriptions, and then do a little bit of research on professors that excite you. Because when it comes down to it, when you have admissions offers, it is those things that might be what helps you make your decision.
I'm gonna say, remember that admissions counselors are actual people who you can talk to. I think especially right now when so much of the programming that we're doing is virtual, it can kind of feel like we're just, I don't know, characters on a screen of some kind, but we are actual people who are here to help you, and we love to hear from students. I personally love to hear from my students, and particularly because I work for a small college, I really like when I am reading the application of a student who I've met, right, who I've gotten to know, whether they've done an interview, they've reached out, they've emailed, we've had a phone conversation. So definitely take advantage of the fact that admissions counselors' information is all public and out there, and definitely cruise through our websites, but don't be afraid to reach out and connect, or to ask for us to make introductions to other people in the community. Like Chuck said, if there's a professor you're excited about, right? Sometimes we might be able to get you a meeting with that professor, or a meeting with a current student who's got an interest that you share. So definitely remember that there are humans in this process who you can connect with and utilize to try to get a feel for the institution.
I always love this question, and I love all the answers that everyone's given. So of course, I just would like reiterate everything, but especially what Emily just said, like, we are humans. Like, I realize it's easy to forget, but it's true. But I know you're early in the search process in a lot of ways, but it's going to go really fast. You're going to get so excited about so many schools, and that's such a great feeling to have. And it's really good to be excited about where you're going to college. But I know what I always tell students, because I was certainly that student who I was like, this is my spot. Like, that's the school I have to go to. That's the only place I'm going to be happy. There are 100 colleges in the country and around the world that are the perfect fit for you, that will have all of the resources and programs that will be amazing to take advantage of. And you will put your effort in and you will have an amazing experience. So get excited. If you find your top choice, go for it. But just know that there are so many others that will also be wonderful, and that you will end up with such great opportunities. Keeping that in mind, I think, is key.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off that answer, just because, I mean, college is really what you make of it. Once you get there, like, no college is going to like hold your hand throughout 4 years to make sure you're getting the most of it. So you're just, wherever you end up, as long as you're active, you're going to have a great time. So there's multiple perfect fits out there. Don't be panicking about and stressing out about finding the one school out there. You'll be finding a lot of places. So don't panic.
All right, perfect advice. I love the ending. Don't panic. Very, very true. So last plug is reach out to these folks. They are the experts. They are the keys to their institutions, and they're able to figure out whether you are a good fit or not. So please make that contact with them. Thank you for attending. Thank you to our expert panelists. As you leave here, there's a quick 4-question survey that will appear. Very, very helpful. Definitely sign up for more sessions, the same place that you signed up for this one. And a recording of this is available at StriveScan's website. All of that is also in the chat there. Thank you again to the attendees, and thank you again to our awesome panelists, and have a good evening.